Yeah, sure. Hello and welcome to the last day of this business week's Power Hour, brought to you by the Native Wellness Institute, the Alignment of the Planets, and of course, today, the Indigenous 20-somethings Project. We have with us the wonderful Miss Shailene Joseph, Sierra Bigay, and Mr. Tomas Carmelo Amaya. Actually, it's Sierra Amaya now?
Yeah, it is. I need to change my name. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. So a lot's happened since we last caught up with everyone on our Power Hour. And so today we're going to be talking about, what we've been doing and how we've been able to keep safe and hopefully be able to provide some good insight tips to everyone here watching with us as well. But let's do some introductions. I'll pass it off to Tomas.
Yes, Shay. My name is Tomas Carmelo Amaya. I am currently in Phoenix, Arizona, which is the ancestral homelands of our Otham relatives. We also have Yaqui relatives here and Yavapai relatives as well. I am Sierra's husband. We officially got married in a private small little ceremony. Eventually we'll have our traditional ceremonies, but we were able to do it safely with our very immediate families, so we're blessed for that. And our baby just turned 1 year old, one little rotation around the sun. She has 1.5 teeth that are out currently, and we celebrate those as well. It's an honor and a blessing to be here. Let's go with Shay next.
It's pointing around. Hey everyone, my name is Shailene. Out here in, there it is. Hold up. So we have some visitors here in town.
Love you guys. Cyber hugs.
Saw that one. I didn't see that one coming.
Good. Oh, hey, Jay, how you guys doing out there? Holy.
Oh, come on.
See you later. Oh yeah, go ahead. You can take it.
So that's where you sit.
Yeah, this is where I sit. All right, word is out. The NWI board is here in town. They're having a board meeting. Everyone is vaccinated, I will say that. Yeah, so it's really strange having people in the house. It's really weird, but it's nice. Anyways, we're out here in Chinook territory. I'm Ani on my mom's side from Fort Boundlet, Montana. I'm Koikon Athabaskan from Tanana, Alaska. I can hear them right outside the door. On my dad's side, and I'm just really excited to be here and to see everybody here. I haven't had a lot of time. Josh and I have been working together, but you're basically joining our catch-up. That was my watch. You're joining our catch-up here with our crew. So I'll pass it over to Sib.
Oh man, that was so awesome to see everybody. It just makes me feel and think about, life before the pandemic. Yat Eb, my name is Sierra Bigay. I am Navajo, originally from Fort Defiance, Arizona. My clans are Tapahan, Nishlin, Sinjakine, Bashashin, Bilagana Shiche, and Sitnajini Chanele. My husband here is Tomas. I'm happy to be able to join him on this screen today. And I have our daughter, Hesea, here, and she's sleeping right next to me taking a nap. And so she might wake up in a little bit, just let you guys know. I'm sure a lot of other pandemic mamas can totally relate, working and childcare at once. And shout out to our awesome dads in this live as well that help and support Tomas, first-time father, and also Josh, first-time father. And so really excited to be here with you guys. As Tomas had mentioned, we live down in Phoenix, which is O'odham territory, also Yavapai and Yaqui. And we're getting ready for a very hot summer. The temperatures are already pretty high. And so that is what I'll say for my intro so far. I'm happy to be here with the I-20SP crew and WI crew. I've been working with you all for a couple years now, and I'm excited for another, for more years to come. So thank you all for joining our conversation and enjoying this amazing Friday afternoon with us, almost the weekend. Yes. And I will kick it back down to Josh. And yes, so take it away, Josh.
Perfect. Hello. My name is Joshua Cocker, so it says my screen, and I am Kiowa from Oklahoma. Traditionally, our territory is Montana, Yellowstone, Wyoming region. But right now, Anadarko, Carnegie, Lawton, Oklahoma, that's where we're at. So any wild Indians from over there. Hey. And then on my dad's side, I'm Tongan from the Pacific, and I was born in Aotearoa. So lucky enough to be able to be raised in both of those places, both the Pacific and in the plains. And I'm actually joining you from neither of those places. So I'm in Kalawashak right now, the Turtle Village down here in Chumash territory, and my partner's territory. She is of the Samala band, and we have 2 children. Both of them are going into the truck right now to be driven around, hopefully put to sleep and relieve them of whatever demons torment their souls, because they were crazy, man. They were crazy in this house before they left. So super stoked to be here with you guys today. Super stoked to be talking about this. I feel like this topic of how to stay safe, and what we're up to in the pandemic, it's always good to catch up with each other. But this topic of how to stay safe is super important these days. And I had a couple of thoughts that I wanted to start us out with, and then we can just jump into what we're thinking, how we're doing, what's going on. And I want to say this is I've been like super hyper focused. So hyper focused was redundant if I said super, on safety since I went to school and I studied outdoor adventure and facilitation. And so what happens is, this is basically it in a nutshell. People trust you, they pay you, you go out and you do dangerous activities with them, and then you have to keep them alive. That's pretty much it. And make sure that they feel safe while doing it. And so we were given a number of tools to be able to run a dynamic risk assessment. Like as we're moving into new situations, we're looking at what are the backgrounds of the clients that we're taking, what are the risks of the activity, the inherent risks of the activity that we're doing. So like rock climbing, for example, another way of looking at that is defying gravity, and you can only do that for so long until gravity beats you out and then you come down. So what do we do to keep safe in those situations? And then like if you're thinking about it in terms of whitewater kayaking, you're getting into a large plastic lunchbox and running massive rapids. It can be dangerous, man. It can be dangerous. And so learning how to be able to assess honestly the risk of a situation and factor in the people that you're with is incredibly important. And it gives you a confidence that otherwise would be outside of your control and or not based in reality. And so by that, I mean this. If you knew the difference between real risk and perceived risk, what would be the difference, like in our life? Kind of an interesting question, but perceived risk to a child is there's a monster in my closet. We all know that's not a real risk. And so the way that we choose to live out that like knowledge is telling our children, there's no monster in the closet. Go to bed so I can go to sleep too. You know what I mean? So that kind of, it changes the way that we see the world and the way that we choose to interact with it too. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because this is what we're doing. We're running risk assessment. We're actually being invited to run risk assessment in every activity that we go into the grocery store, using public toilets, like freaking everything is like, who can I talk to in person? How can I interact with them? Can I go by their house and drop stuff off? It's really intense. And if we're not prepared with at least the basic set of tools to assess that risk, then we're kind of left to our own imagination, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that. And the one thing that I wanted to share on top of what I already did was this idea of like how I see like this whole pandemic phase of our lives playing out right now. Like we're all on a journey together. We're all just on an adventure. And when we're coming together as a team, there's a couple of phases that our team will evolve through, and it's a cycle. So we'll go back through these. And there's a number of different ways to place these in different orders. But the way I learned it was storming, forming, norming, and performing. And I feel like in the beginning, last March was definitely like the storming phase, Disneyland was being shut down, freaking couldn't go to Walmart without, wearing a mask and staying 12 feet away from people. No, actually, masks weren't even encouraged until late March, early May, or April, sorry, March, April, yeah. And so it's like that storming phase. It's like unsure, not like don't know what's going on. Then it's like the forming phase, like everyone's like kind of getting used to it, finding their groove. Okay, the norming phase, like all right, yeah, I guess this is how it is. And then performing, we're in the performing stage right now. And then we went into the storming phase a little bit when they're like, actually, you know what? You need to wear 2 masks. So 3 would be better. 4 is preferable. I mean, I don't know if they actually said that, but there's multiple masks. Like, but I thought you said. And we're going to continue to go through these cycles as a society, right? And as these things are happening, what are we doing to keep ourselves safe? What are we doing to mitigate risk in certain situations? I think, like, as we're opening up this discussion, I wanted to mention those 2 things because it's real. If we're not making that connection that like what we're doing is dynamic risk assessment and mitigation, like we should consider that that's the reality of our daily lives now. And then secondly, like what phase are we in right now with our home group? Are we in the storming, forming, norming, performing phase? And how can we get to, the phase that we want to be if we're not already there? Yeah, man, it's just big. It's just so big because I feel like a little bit of a catch up is in our home and in the Joseph's home and Shailene's house, only eating meat that we hunt. And so I traveled up to be with Shailene and her family, go hunting with her brother, like we do, pre-pandemic times, pre-contact times. And it was good and it was fun, but it was different. Had like a bunch of different emotions come up, like leaving Eva at home with both our kids while baby's teething. I would have liked, we all would have liked for that trip to be taken as a family, but we were just like, we'll try to do it as safe as possible. But I mean, the fact of the matter is like, gotta live your life too, but as long as we're doing things safely. Those are my thoughts. I just want to put that out there in the beginning, but I wanted to open it up too to the rest of the crew. Like, what are you guys thinking and feeling about all this idea of like staying safe in the pandemic?
Sure, I'll go right ahead. Well, I will say I did not mention I am Yoeme and Ashmi on my mom's side and Raramuri on my dad's side. I was so hyped to just see everybody again, and it's just beautiful to catch up. And so I really appreciate that. Sometimes we do say what we kind of do for a living, and other times we don't. Currently, I'm the creative director for Indian Country Today, and I own a production company with Sierra called Canyon Productions. And so we stay busy with creative work. And I think you touched upon a lot of good things, Josh. Like nowadays we hear this thing of like work-life balance. And at the same time, we're thinking about, well, the pandemic and these other concerns affect both of that. It affects like when we have these milestones in our lives, like the first birthday of our baby, and maybe Sierra, we can talk about that a little bit more, but how we planned for that, making that assessment, like you said, Josh, where we have to do some bit of like marginal analysis of, pros and cons. Here are the risks, here are the benefits. Could those benefits, can we see those in other ways? Can we involve maybe more people via Zoom and make a Zoom link? Or how many people should be at a gathering, and should they be vaccinated? Do they have to show their card, under UV light? I don't know. There's all these things. And I think when we talk about safety and when we're working with our families and our communities and our networks, even when we're doing mutual aid, having that level of respect and not, shaming anyone in the process, and respecting people's reluctance to do things for their own reasons is really important. And we know that stress can cause our immune systems to go down. So if we already use some of these practices of staying in balance and being healthy, we can already do a lot in keeping people safe. And I know that's easier said than done. I'll go into this a bit more later, just because I want other homies to speak here. But I was a language interpreter for over 10 years in different hospitals. And one of the things that I always noticed was there's this saying where it's like, oh, we provide patient-centered care. And I was like, patient-centered care? I'm like, how did that become a thing? Like, when was it not patient-centered care? What was it centered on before? Was it like hospital-centered care, profit-centered care? What's up with this? And so like my brain, my especially the indigenous parts of my brain, which is all parts of my brain, was just like, yo, like, what is this? Why did we arrive to this type of term? I thought it was always about the patient. Hello, Elo. Is that Elo? Yeah, hello. And so I want to tie that into like just thinking about sometimes we get programmed to think a certain way. And hold on, we have, because I was like, oh, we should have done this before. Happy birthday to the man back there in the cap. Thosh,
Happy birthday.
our brother, happy birthday. He's I won't say his age, but it looks like he's going on to 21. And baby Aloe, special guest here.
Yeah, she's gonna go.
Oh, I just wanted to add to that thought real quick of it's like, when we think about some of the ways that we've been programmed and thinking about each other, even in our workplace or in our communities and all these different kind of systems that are constantly, imparting themselves on us, it's important to take that step back and ask those questions, like, how did we arrive to this way of treating each other? Or why is it in this particular paradigm that I'm thinking of my other community members? And then that makes me think of being a patient advocate. And we know that we have different family members and community members that have gone through different processes and experiences through this pandemic. And so first and foremost, our prayers for all our relatives that have made their transition, and to all the families that have been there to support or couldn't be there necessarily. When we think about that, if we all push towards really creating these safe places for ourselves in our homes, that ultimately does spread throughout community. And even in the environments where in Western medicine, we see healthcare, right, in the clinics and in the hospitals. And then we can feel more at peace that there is, love and respect and advocacy for our loved ones, even in our absence, because we're moving forward together as a larger community. And so that's why I always try to connect that to the big picture, is like, there are times where I saw certain peers of mine who are healthcare providers stop and say, dang, I never really seen like people show up to be there for their family like this, either the number of family members or the outpouring of love. And it becomes very inspiring, to the point where they're thinking about their own communities and how they show support. And so I'll leave it right there. It's just that perspective of how Josh was saying, like, some of his life experience about safety relates to safety now, during this pandemic. And I think that's a really cool way to kind of tie it in and apply some of those things that we learn in life. And again, shout out to Thosh and baby Aloe.
I'll go next because we got our Miss Shay Shay doing her auntie duties over there. If any aunties out there, I totally 100% would trust Shailene with our daughter. So thank you, all the aunties, all the grandmas, for everything you do, especially during this pandemic. It's crazy to think that a year has gone by of staying isolated at home, and it was pretty difficult for Tomas and I at the beginning of learning how to be parents for the first time. And when our daughter was born, it was right after we all had the mandatory quarantine for 2 weeks. And so it was, it was very hot. It's very hot. And it's crazy to look back now of how uncertain everything was, and what that uncertainty turned to, whether that was violence or just conversation with family members, and really seeing the dynamic of relationships, and also being understanding of okay, we all have our roles in society, whether that is helping taking care of the community, dropping off donation boxes, whether that's being a father and helping your wife while she's trying to navigate starting work again. And so it was really, now that I look at it today, of being able to have that privilege to know the research, to know what's safe and what's not, and also the knowledge of being able to work from home with our daughter. That's a privilege that not a lot of people have. And Tomas and I are also vaccinated, and so a worldly privilege of there's not a lot of people in the world that have the opportunity to get the vaccine yet. And so I just want to acknowledge our relatives from different places, down, whether that's down in South America or whether that's in Africa, wherever that may be. I want to recognize that we are here within the United States, and have been able to have access and stay safe at home. And that does make me really appreciate and take into consideration everything that within being safe at home and not taking anything for granted. Yeah, those are just some thoughts that came up after listening to Tomas and Josh. Tomas and I both got vaccinated at the beginning of this year, and I'm happy that we did, and there's that level of being protected, but we still do curbside pickup. Like we had mentioned earlier, we both got we got married, and it wasn't, I would have wanted more people to be there. We celebrated our daughter's first birthday, and the same thing, I would have wanted more people to be there. And the only people that were in attendance were our immediate families. A majority of our families are vaccinated, except for the younger ones, and masks were worn. And so I feel like we did a pretty good job. Nobody was COVID positive after. We were all pretty safe, and so there's still ways to celebrate milestones. And then also for our daughter's birthday, we sent out a Zoom link. And so we had a lot of people on the screen, and that was really exciting to see everybody. Yeah, and then I have the white noise machine going on in the background. If you hear it, can you guys hear it? Or can you hear me mainly? No? Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's just, some of my thoughts right now. Yes, but Josh, do you have anything else to say? I know that you have to jump off at 12:30.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be out of here in a couple of minutes. Yeah, I think just in terms of like keeping safe during the pandemic, that statement of knowing the difference between like real risk and perceived risk is super important, because it's crazy that in our lifetime it could be like someone's life, if not our own, in the balance. Super heavy to think about. And we've never really had to consider that when wanting to go to powwow or wanting to go to ceremony or hang out with friends. But that's where we're at right now. So I just want to say right before I jump off, in support of what already has been said, and what will be said too, let's stay informed, man. Let's stay informed. Let's know what's going on so that we have as much information as possible. Because when we do that, we're able to make genuinely good decisions based on real information. And if we're not doing that, then I think it's important to acknowledge that we're not making genuinely good decisions based on information. It's more of a feeling. And sometimes our feelings can betray us because COVID-19 don't give a dang about our feelings. So let's get it, family. Let's be safe. And I love you guys. Thank you for joining us. And I will see everyone on this call a little bit later. I'll pass it over to Shay. Bye, guys. Bye, Alo.
Bye. Oh, she waved. Awesome. Catch you later, Josh. Yeah. I think as for what we've been up to, safety has been like our number one thing here. We have a family member who's in our bubble who is battling cancer right now. So safety has been like an all-time high, in addition to the pandemic. So really making sure that, our bubble awareness is on point, that we've also been doing like the grocery pickup, and just remaining safe in like the best possible way. Everyone is vaccinated in our house, as well as all the visitors that you saw barge in here. They're all vaccinated as well, and we've been really trying to follow, what the CDC has been saying. For those of you who know Lavina, I don't know if you can hear her. I think she's doing a cheer. But we've all been, trying to stay as safe as possible, and being mindful, especially because, if we do come in contact with someone else, it's having the awareness of their bubble and respect for their bubble as well, because we don't know who they're going home to, and just that kind of stuff. I think another really cool thing that's been happening is the norm, like Josh said, like creating norms is like the norm of consent it's like, it's talked about more often, and not consent in like the usual way we speak about it, but consent in even like two vaccinated people, like, can I hug you? And if they're like, no, then it's like, okay, that's fine. Right. But being able to have those conversations and really work on communication. Hello, already figured out how to use my iPad and change the colors. You were just a genius baby. Anyhow, I'm getting sidetracked here. But yeah, I feel like I've just been so busy with work that like the hangout aspect, I haven't like, not even on Zoom, like Sierra and Tomas here, like I haven't had time to catch up with them. Like this is literally my catch up here. So welcome to our FaceTime, y'all. But right, I think for our household, one of my brothers is back home now. He was over on the East Coast for a bit there, and ooh, is that good? And we're eating Cheez-Its over here. And it's been like the conversation here too is like making sure that we all felt safe with him coming home. You know, we quarantined when he came home as a family because basically when he walked in the door, we're like, all right, we're all in this together. um, and it's been really good. It's been really nice to add to our bubble, but also like to know that we can lean on one another. We've been like, usually we all watch shows apart while together. Y'all know what I mean? But now we're watching shows together, which also makes it kind of hard because our schedules are complete opposites. So we're like at the halfway point of Rutherford Falls because we're all trying to watch it together and we get like one episode at a time. Oh no. And oh man, there goes my beans. Look who it is.
Hello. She doing all right?
Yeah.
Or is she being pissed? Oh, she's playing on that.
Yeah.
Cool.
She figured out how to change the colors already. But yeah, that's what we've been up to. We've been just kind of hanging out. I'll pass it over to Tomas really quick.
Oh, I just want to add something really quick. So if you guys don't know, this week is World Immunization Week. It's about staying up to date with all of your vaccines. And so not just the COVID-19 vaccine, but all of the other vaccines as well. During this time, you know, going to the hospital for checkups and whatnot, I feel like was a little nerve-wracking to myself and to Tomas. But one thing, oh, look who is awake. Hi, baby. This is Saya. She's just waking up. So one thing that there was a moment where we had missed a couple of Jose's appointments just because the cases were really high and we just felt really unsure of going and just the safety of taking her out. And so one thing a doctor said to us was that you know, we have to protect her and all of the immunizations that she receives are also to protect her from other things. And so also stay up to date with your children's vaccines and anybody who, you know, doesn't have resources to a car to get their regular checkups. Make sure to take care of each other and our community. And so this week, World Immunization Week, schedule those doctor appointments. Make sure you guys are all okay and get your regular checkups going. Are all knowledgeable of safety precautions. And so whether you haven't gone to the doctor's office this year for your regular checkup, just this is your sign. Go get everything checked out, get your teeth checked out, get your eyes checked out. Make sure that everything else is okay. So it's one less thing to worry about. Huh, Hosea? Yeah. Mama's got to go to the dentist. Yeah. And you too. Yeah.
You're always telling me to get my ears and eyes checked out, but for different reasons.
I'm going to turn off that like noise thing.
Okay. I'll go ahead and add. Okay. So I think what Sierra's saying is super, super important. There are several, I struggled with that word. There are several family members and friends, and even me during the pandemic, I had acute appendicitis, and there was a huge fear of, you know, going to the doctor's office or going to the hospital, actually, for me. And going back to what Josh was saying about, you know, perceived versus real risk, it's really important that we look at our situations as with as much information as possible. Again, I like that Sierra brought up the fact of privilege for us, you know, for different communities. And the big point is like there are resources, and I just want to give like a solid push and motivation for people to just do the follow-up work on, you know, your annual checkups and other things that are part of just making sure that you're well. And I know that that's something that was really hard for several of my friends, is finding out that family members were sick, and then there was some fear about, you know, how they can get help safely, and then not being able to be there at the hospital. So Jose is super hype right now. When she wakes up, she's so cute.
Yeah, I can add it. Yeah, I think that's so important, is like also staying up on our overall health. That's been like what we've been chatting about here, is like maybe if we're not making the time to check in, what can we do like preventatively here? Like, you know, eating healthier, making sure like if one person's on the computer too long, like, hey, why don't you get some movement in today, or let's go for a walk. We've been doing like a lot of family walks and hanging out. But, you know, try to take care of one another, you know, especially because, you know, we're all in this house together, you know, making sure that, you know, everyone's, you know, not necessarily up to par, but, you know, feeling supported. And it's been a lot of fun, especially with the kids. Christine, my niece, for those of you who don't know, just turned 4. We also had a party just with our bubble, and that was a lot of fun. And then it was her party, and we joined Hasea's party on Zoom, and we were like laying in the grass, and I didn't want to unmute us but she was like singing, and she's like, can she hear me? How come she's not saying anything? We were like, oh, we'll get there one day. But I think I'm just like super thankful for technology, just because like our ability to be able to still communicate and attend, you know, parties, even like virtually, and really just hang out and see them grow. Like Hasea has gotten so much taller. Like I haven't ever seen her in person yet, but just like watching her grow still has been like, you know, just so awesome and so thankful. And this one too, she's over here. She's already got my whole iPad figured out. And I haven't seen her in a year. Go ahead.
Watch.
Yeah.
Watch.
And I'll pass it back over to Tomas real quick.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'll put this on the record, because there's this video on PBS. It was for like Native American Heritage Month. I was asked to speak there, and it was a really heavy day when we filmed. And I actually like started tearing up a lot, because a lot was going on in my life and with my family. And I mentioned technology about there's parts of it that can separate us and make us feel like more distant, but there's certainly ways in which it makes us you know, come together, and gives us the ability to kind of be there, if even from afar. And so I'm grateful for that. And I encourage more of our Indigenous community, our relatives that are engineers and programmers and just tech savvy, like appreciate your gifts and your skills, and how you help, you know, communities stay, you know, together and troubleshoot. Sierra's dad, my now father-in-law, works in technology and keeping people connected in networks. And so just shout out to all the individuals that make sure that our systems are operating in a good way, so that we can, you know, keep communication going. You know, prayers to you, prayers to your family, and thank you for your skills. And Sierra, you wanted to say something? I got to grab a charger real quick for this laptop.
Yeah, I will. Hold on. Hosea. She's like ready to run out this door right now.
I can hop into. I have. I was watching some superhero stuff, so hopefully.
Okay. Okay, we're good. Thank you. Yeah, I think right now just talking about what you mentioned earlier, Shailene, of just making sure everything is okay. I actually, with the current employer that I have now, they have opened the possibility to help assist help assist financially with different therapy. There's this therapy website, and so I'm actually going to be starting some counseling pretty soon, thanks to them. And I feel like, yeah, right now is a good time. Before it's like, oh my gosh, we're all scared, we're all freaking out. And now I feel like I can really talk it through and understand like just how different things like went through the year, and like, you know, talk it out with somebody that's, you know, other than Tomas. Both him and I struggle sometimes with hearing him out and listening without reacting. And so, yeah, sometimes our partners are good being there to listen to, and sometimes we can react, and it's okay. As long as you understand, you know, what you're putting each other through. And we're, you know, I feel like during this pandemic, we definitely have found our strengths and weaknesses, if anything. And it's just interesting of like how different we think like staying safe is compared to like before the pandemic, where like, you know, our kids are going to school all coughing, sore throat, and now it's like, okay, we're really taking a look at our health as a priority, which I feel like unfortunately before wasn't always something that was at the center of work or school, of like health, like, oh yeah, I'll go to work if I'm sick. Yeah.
So there's a moment over here. Christine is meeting Aloe for the first time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's
I'm Aloe. And then she said, hi, I'm Christine.
oh my gosh.
Awesome. Yeah, these are the moments that I miss are right here. And I'm really excited for when we can safely all be together again. I think that's what I most look forward to. It's kind of funny, like now that the board is here temporarily, but we're all still working. They're doing like a keynote right now. I can hear them. But yeah, no, I think like just kind of going off of everything that everyone has been saying, you know, the balance, right, of our own mental health and our self-care and figuring out what works for us and what doesn't work for us. Like, I think somebody in the comments said like how we use this time, right? Like one of our elders and mentors from the get-go was like, do we have enough time? And that's what he would talk about a lot, is like, hi Isaiah, right? Is about time and how we use this time. I think, you know, it was a struggle in the beginning. I was going nuts. And I think like now we're kind of finding this balance, and, you know, everyone's doing, you know, the best that they can, and that's different. And that, I think also kind of going off what Josh was saying earlier, is we can only meet people where they're at. We can't have, you know, we can have expectations of our own space and set up healthy boundaries, but other people are going to do, you know, what they're going to do. And we just have to try and help keep as many people safe as we can. And like safe physically, but also mentally as well, in being aware of, you know, the kind of things that we do or say, or if we're reacting to or responding to, kind of learning about ourselves and what that looks like and what that means. these two are so cute over here. Right, all these things. I think that's one last thing I'll say before I kick it back to these guys is when everybody kind of started showing up to the house, it was a weird pause at first, like, you know, can I hug you? And then we were like, well, we're gonna be here for a couple of days, like, you know, we're all in this, so we were hugging each other. But then it was like no time had passed, even though we haven't seen each other for like a year and a half or more, some of us 2 years. It was like no time had passed and everyone was visiting and laughing again. And that's what makes me excited for the future. More things to look forward to is like these moments. And even though we're like separated or apart from people, that eventually it will be safe again for us to gather. And those are the days that I'm excited for and ready for. I always laugh when I see like the things on social media where they're like, how come, why can't we be like Australia or New Zealand? Like they're just living their regular lives. And then like people from Australia and New Zealand like will like add to the video and they're like, because we stayed home. like we all have our own responsibilities and things that we can do to help, end this pandemic, or at least, contain it a bit. So my hope is that, everyone is just, staying safe and learning about themselves too. There's so much, there's really so much time, but being mindful about how we use that time. So I'm gonna send both of y'all a picture of this moment that's happening right here while I also toss it over to you.
Hello. Hello, folks. I am Hasaya. Sometimes she doesn't like sitting in front of the laptop, so I love that she's been cool with it right now. Thank you, Hasaya. We appreciate you.
You gotta do a little story, Hasaya story of how she's been staying safe with her arms, like how you go.
Yeah, she wants to do it. So,
Okay, take it away, Hasaya.
let me tell you about all the things I've done for me and my family to stay safe. One thing I like to do is get after my parents if they don't take their dirty shoes off when they walk into the house. For one, I'm this tall, and that means I'm that closer to their stinky shoes, and I just want to stay safe. So please send some Febreze and some note cards so I can remind my parents to take their shoes off at the door. Appreciate you. Thank you, Jose. That was so sweet and kind of, I felt a little judged there, but it's all good. Love you, Jose. Now, Jose, I want to add this part of it right here. Is just like parenthood, fatherhood, Indigenous fatherhood. I think it puts a lot of things into perspective when it comes to safety and creating a safe home. And there are a lot of things that Sierra and I will realize that were maybe unsafe that we didn't realize, and how we react to, or how we, oh my gosh, this is the cutest baby picture of Hosea came up. I wish I could show you guys this, but it's like her sleeping. That's you, baby. What I want to say is like, in a, that's you, mamash, that's you. How we respond versus react, because there are going to be things that we find out that we're doing that maybe with new information are not maybe the safest thing, right? And Sierra and I have encountered some of those situations, and we're like, oh snap, this was maybe not that safe for Hosea. And instead of being upset at each other, or being like mean to each other, we're just like, we just have to take it in and say, okay, moving forward, what's best for our family, what's best for Hosea, how can we move closer to that solution versus like focusing on the problem a lot. And we're gonna find that like maybe, oh snap, we know the CDC guidelines, this and that, like as we find out more information of how we can interact now, given where we're at in the pandemic, there's gonna be moments where we're like, oh no, was that completely as safe as it could have been? And sometimes it's not malicious, right? It just, we might find ourselves in situations, or there might not have been the full information. So how we respond to that information is important too, because again, if we add any type of bad, like ill energy, it could increase our stress levels and all that. But it's important to keep accountability, of course, and that's why Hesea is here, to keep our loved ones accountable, and her eyebrows say it all. And so does this smile with the 1.5 teeth. Love you.
I think that's. Can y'all hear them? Anyhow, that is Lavina, everyone. And the whole crew. Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. I think it's just so funny watching all these kids. Right before they left, I was gonna unmute them, but they were like, Christine knows how to say Hesea now. And she goes, bye Hesea. And then Ella was like, bye Saya. And then they like took off out the door and they're like, let's go play with the ball. It just makes me so excited for when we can all be together again, which hopefully is soon. Yeah, I think, oh wait, Sib, I'll pass it to you real quick.
Okay. Yeah, well, just talking about community and staying safe, reach out to those that may be struggling or may need groceries again. I think that it was really awesome to see, like, throughout the year of us like taking care of each other. And so staying safe is also by helping community stay safe as well. And I just want to acknowledge everybody at the NWI crew there in Portland and how they continue to help keep community safe, whether that is by dropping off donations or by being somebody to call during a hard time. So I just want to recognize everybody over there at the headquarters and all the awesome work that y'all continue to do, whether that is keeping us all trauma informed or whether that is keeping us safe or telling a hilarious joke. And so thank you guys so much. The work is going to continue from here on out of helping each other. And I feel like if anything this pandemic has taught us, it is that we all rely and we're all connected. And so relying on one another is something that we may have not been as what was I going to say? That we may have not been as aware of. And so, yeah, just continue to stay safe, y'all. And we're going to be in this for a while until more people get vaccinated, until, our cases come down even more. And then there are many other different types of pandemics that are out there that need to be recognized, such as our missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and there's many other struggles that we face as a community. And so hopefully us moving through, healing through COVID can lead to the same type of energy and push for our different pandemics that are out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Love you all. It was so nice to talk to you guys. And I know that it was so hard. Like, it's so hard to not see family that aren't vaccinated, to still be very careful around people that are vaccinated. And for Tomas and I, we haven't gotten sick this year. Thank Creator. Our Hesea hasn't gotten sick this year. And that's, all thanks to following the CDC guidelines of and keeping, our bubble small. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you guys all. We're almost there. We can continue to send
Yeah.
each other love through technology.
Definitely. I wanted to add to that really quick. In addition to, right, we're in a pandemic, but there's so many epidemics that we're facing. And Sib mentioned.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That mentioned MMIW, or some are saying MMIR, MMIWR, right? Next week's Power Hours will be focused on the missing and murdered Indigenous women and relatives. We'll have different speakers through the week. We have a committee that's been working for months on end on making sure that awareness continues, and that keeping our relatives safe, not only from this pandemic, right, but from other things that our communities face, and really being mindful that safety, holistic safety, right, making sure that that our women and girls and femmes are being protected, and that they have safe space, right? So next week we'll be focused on a lot of that. I know we have it's a hard topic, so not all days will be talking based. We'll have some movement and activities to do as well through the week. So we'll be posting that, whether it's this weekend or on Monday. So thank you. So keep a lookout, keep an eye out. Lastly, I want to say that I hope that all of you stay safe and are doing the things that you need to take care of yourselves. Whatever your self-care is, I hope that you do more of it, because you deserve it. I hope that everyone, has a great weekend. It is Friday, and thank you both and Josh for coming and hanging out with us. And that's us for the day, y'all. And thank you to the Seattle Urban Indian Health Institute for sponsoring us today. Hi, say see you later. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you for hanging out with us. Hi Malia, hi Howie, how's Shy? I saw y'all in the comments. It's good to see y'all hanging out with us. Hopefully next time you can be on here with us, and we will see you all again really soon. All right, bye everybody.